What's going on YouTube? 6'5" Rider here, coming back to you with another video. And that's right, that title was not clickbait. We are on the way to pick up another MT-10. I got my buddy Ali. I've been trying to convince this guy to get a bike for like 3 or 4 years now, and I think it's finally happening. Funny story, we've actually been on the hunt for a bike for almost 3 months now.
For a good 3 months.
Yeah, 3-4 months. Oh, there's a cop up there. Fucking Florida State Troopers, bro. Be camping. We've been on the hunt for a motorcycle. We've been all over the place between started off with a Gixxer 750. That was the original plan. And then it moved to a bunch of different motorcycles, from older MV Agusta Brutale to a Aprilia Tuono V4. Funny story, a couple of weeks ago, we actually went and checked one out. And dude, like the deal was done pretty much. We went there, saw the bike, he took the bike out for a ride, everything was good, came back, gave the owner an envelope with all the money in it. Owner signed the title. Luckily he didn't put Ali's name on it just yet. He signed it over, he put the money in his pocket, and then he asked my friend if he can ride the bike one last time. I guess he wants to spark up some old memories or something. He got on the bike, he took it like 15 feet down the road and boom, fucking dropped it, man. That was the craziest story ever. He like dropped it, the dude actually hurt himself, he got road rash all over his arms, he didn't have a helmet on. Luckily he was fine. But yeah, he got up, put his hand back in his pocket, took out the $8,000, handed it to my friend again, and we were back on the hunt for another bike. You know, what I told him was that, you know, it's just like not a bike that's meant for you, so it's all good, man. And so now what we're actually doing is we've been negotiating, or he's been negotiating with a guy about a Yamaha MT-10, a 2018 model. I'll put a picture of it up here. This morning we were actually supposed to drive up to Orlando to pick up a 2019 Aprilia Tuono V4. But he originally looked at this MT-10, offered the guy a price, the guy would not come down. So last night we did one final attempt and sent a message to the guy. We're like, hey, in the morning we're gonna go pick up this Aprilia. If you're interested, I'd rather pick up the MT-10. And the guy went down $1,000 in the price. So I don't know, we're taking it as a sign, right? That,
yeah, it saves us a 3-hour drive too.
Yeah, I mean, saves him reliability, I want to say, of a Yamaha versus an Aprilia. Although it's not as special of a motorcycle, it is still a beast. He rode my MT-10 last week. What were your thoughts on that?
It was an amazing bike, even though it was on race mode B.
He rode it, he liked it, kind of sparked that interest in motorcycles again, and especially that, like, Ali never owned a naked bike, and so he really enjoyed it, sounds like. So I want to take you guys along with me for the ride. It is a used motorcycle, so I also wanted to walk you guys through the process of buying a used motorcycle and what that whole experience looks like. Just to take it from the top, we did find this motorcycle on Facebook Marketplace. You can either go through a private party or go through a dealership typically. And in this situation, we found the bike on Facebook Marketplace. You hit up the guy. Usually, you know, it's best not to discuss pricing or anything like that over text message, because a lot of times the seller doesn't take you really seriously. But if you do show up to the seller and then you have cash, you have more leverage to kind of negotiate right then and there. That's how I typically tell everybody how they should proceed. So you can ask about the availability of the bike in the text message, you can ask about information, and then one of the most important questions to ask is, hey, is this price negotiable? Are you willing to come down on price? Like, don't throw a price out there. Just you know, negotiate a little bit and see the person's willingness to actually negotiate. So in these situations too, like most of the time, these are going to be cash transactions. Just always be careful, always have some protection with you, have a buddy come with you just in case, because you don't want to go alone, because you never know what these situations look like, especially meeting somebody random on the internet. Always go during the day. I mean, it's 9 a.m. right now, that's why we're heading super early in the morning. If it is a little bit later, try to meet at a more public place, but just so you can ensure your own safety. So again, this would be a cash transaction typically. However, sometimes depending on the buyer and depending on their willingness to actually work with you, you can go through a method of getting a loan and paying for the bike that way. But you have to do a lot of work from the get-go. First of all, when you find the motorcycle that you're looking for, you need to go to your bank or your local credit union to apply for a motorcycle loan or a personal loan. But typically in these situations, it would be a motorcycle loan. They'll ask you a bunch of information like a bill of sale. They'll ask you for the VIN number of the motorcycle, the mileage, the price, all that good information. And basically they'll either issue a check or they'll ask for the bank information of the seller. But again, it's very rare that these occasions actually work out because a lot of times the seller doesn't have time to sit around and wait for a check from the bank or whatever. It's just you have to find the right person. That's what I did when I bought my Road Glide initially. I found a buyer who's willing to kind of wait and work with me on that. And I went to my credit union, I applied for a loan, I was able to get it, communicated with the seller, got all the information that's needed, and then we drew up a bill of sale. And basically the bike was mine, but it sat in his garage until the money transferred from my bank to his bank to pay off the loan, because he also had a loan on the bike. And so once that happened, I went over to him and was able to pick up the bike. So there's a lot of flexibility. It just depends on the transaction and the seller's willingness to actually, go through that process with you. You want to say anything?
No, I think I just forgot the bill of sale because you just mentioned it.
Oh, fuck, that's right, the bill of sale. You know what?
Remember, it was the brutality.
Bro, last night I was actually thinking about that, like in bed. I was like, oh yeah, we need to print out a bill of sale.
Yeah, I completely forgot just until you mentioned it.
You can probably do like a
handwritten one.
Yeah, handwritten or like maybe
as a printer.
Or like PDF or something online. Hey, before you go to one of these transactions, print out a bill of sale. You can go to your state's DMV website. They usually have templates. Typically, I like to print out 2 copies. One would be for you and one would be for the seller. That way you have it. You have everybody sign it with the price, the VIN number. That way, if anything goes wrong, you have a written contract right there about the sale. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a second, and we'll do a walkthrough of the bike, and I'll show you guys the whole process, bring you along with me. I'm hoping that we head back home with a bike today, so I need to get this guy on the road with me, man. Get him out with the crew, so yeah. All right, see you guys in a sec. Later. One more thing I forgot to mention. Whenever you're heading to see the motorcycle, text the seller and be like, hey, can you please not start the motorcycle, because what you want as a buyer is to basically have a cold start on the bike to make sure it starts up right, to make sure there's no leaks whenever you're starting, to make sure it goes as planned when it comes to the starting sequence. A lot of times sellers don't mind unless they have something to hide, and what you can do to validate that is when you get there, touch the exhaust, make sure it's cold and not warm like it's been started or something along those lines. So just another tip for you guys if you're going to buy a motorcycle. Alright, so here's the bike. Looks pretty clean. 2018 MT-10. Ellie's gonna take it out for a test ride right now. He just gave the owner the cash in hand, and then yeah, we'll see what he thinks about it. Looks pretty clean.
One eternity later.
What do you think, bro? What are we doing? Here's the cooler level. Come check it out. Look through this window. Where is it? Where is
I
it?
can see it from here.
It's max.
It's max or yeah,
Just that max.
Oh, that's good.
it's right here.
Yeah. And then you can also, while I have it up, check the oil level through the sight glass.
Yeah, I can see it.
Does it go up?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably because we're on a wet or on it. All right, so looks like we're actually gonna move forward with this. Here's Ali. He's checking out the title, matching the VIN number to the VIN number on the bike. Got to make sure that's what's up, because sometimes, you know, some people try to sell stolen bikes or whatever, so you gotta make sure it's actually consistent. There were a couple of notes that we saw on the bike, but I guess it's normal for an 8-year-old bike. Again, it's a Yamaha. If any issues come up, it's cheaper to fix than, say, something like an Aprilia right there. So I think it's a good buy. Bike looks super clean. Good resale value on these. Here she is in all its glory. Yes, sir. Got this baby loaded up. Congrats, homie.
Thanks.
Hell yeah, you finally got a bike, my dude. Fuck yeah, dude. And just like that, you guys, we went ahead and made that purchase. The bike was super clean. Felt like the owner or the seller is a flipper of motorcycles, because he didn't even register it, which is interesting. So he's definitely a flipper. He like buys and sells, makes like a couple $100 on each sale. That's why I didn't want to give you the fender, and because we wanted to sell them.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, we ended up getting it. Regardless, we got the bike for a really good deal. The bike was super clean, except for the fact that it looks like the dude has not touched it or washed it since he got the bike, because it was pretty dirty. But in terms of like functionality, it seems like a pretty clean buy. We got it strapped down to the back of the truck. We're gonna park here in a coffee shop in a little bit, just to make sure everything is as tight as can be. With any used bike that you buy, typically what I like to do is give it a nice deep bath, clean it up from any gunk or anything, because there was a lot of chain gunk. You saw that, right? So that definitely needs cleaning, and then do an oil change. And so we'll see. We'll park here in a little bit, grab some coffee, basically finish up this video. All right, so we just stopped, grabbed some coffee, Carmela Coffee here in Parkland. Here's the MT-10. We added a third MT-10 to the group. And I say third because I didn't tell you guys, but Brian also got an MT-10. And that was after he rode mine, to be honest. I'm telling you, it's one of the best bikes ever made. Don't sleep on this bike. Ali got the older one. We will do a side-by-side comparison of the old one compared to the new one, but let him get acquainted with it first, and then we'll definitely go ahead and do that. Anyway, you guys, that's it for the video. If I will put some bonus footage in here of us unloading the bike, but obviously you don't have to stay on for that, but you can if you want. And you know, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, blow up the comments. Say congrats to my boy Ali. I've been trying to get him to ride with me for a while now, so I'm really excited. I'm probably more excited than he is. It'll be good. This bike is clean. It just needs a good wash. Anyway, yeah, stay tuned for the unload video if you want, and then you know, like, subscribe. All right, see you guys on the next one. Peace. Later.
Good?
All right, leave it.
Uh-huh.